If you are over 60 and your legs feel weaker than they used to, if climbing stairs leaves you winded, if getting up from a chair takes more effort than it should, if your legs feel heavy and tired by mid-afternoon, I want to show you something that most doctors never bring up. Subscribe to this channel for new health videos made specifically for you. 3 specific vitamins that your legs depend on more than any other part of your body, and that the majority of adults over 60 are quietly running low on without ever knowing it. This is not about taking a handful of supplements every morning and hoping for the best. Each of these 3 vitamins has a specific and well-documented role in muscle function, nerve signaling, and circulation. Seeing the 3 systems that determine whether your legs feel strong and reliable or weak and unreliable. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which 3 vitamins matter most for your legs after 60, what each one does at a biological level, the warning signs that you are deficient in each one, and the best food sources so you can start addressing this today without spending money on supplements you may not need. Let me start with why legs specifically become vulnerable after 60. Muscle mass peaks somewhere in your mid-30s. After that, without specific effort to maintain it, you lose roughly 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every decade. After 60, that rate accelerates. Doctors call this sarcopenia, the gradual age-related loss of muscle tissue. But here is the part most people never hear. Sarcopenia is not just about losing muscle fibers, it is about losing the specific type of muscle fibers your legs need most. Your muscles contain 2 types of fibers. Slow twitch fibers handle sustained activity, walking, standing, low-intensity movement. Fast twitch fibers handle explosive, reactive movement, catching yourself when you stumble, climbing stairs quickly, recovering balance when you trip on a rug. After 60, it is the fast twitch fibers that disappear fastest, the ones that catch you, the ones that respond in fractions of a second. And 3 vitamins play a direct role in maintaining both types. Lose them and the decline accelerates. Maintain them and the research shows you can meaningfully slow and even partially reverse muscle loss at any age. Vitamin number 1, vitamin D. Let me start with a number that should genuinely concern you. According to research published in the journal Nutrients, approximately 42% of American adults are deficient in vitamin D. Among adults over 65, that figure climbs to over 50%. More than 1 in 2 older adults walking around right now with insufficient vitamin D to support healthy muscle function. And here is why that matters so specifically for your legs. Inside your muscle cells, there are vitamin D receptors, essentially docking stations waiting for vitamin D to arrive and deliver instructions. When vitamin D binds to these receptors, it does several things that directly determine how well your muscles work. It regulates calcium transport into muscle fibers. Calcium is the trigger for muscle contraction. Without adequate calcium transport, your muscles cannot contract with full force or full speed. It stimulates protein synthesis inside muscle tissue, the process of building and maintaining the actual fibers. And critically, it preferentially supports fast twitch muscle fibers, the exact fibers most at risk after 60, the ones that catch you when you stumble. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism examined muscle biopsies from adults with low vitamin D versus those with adequate levels. The low vitamin D group showed significantly smaller fast-twitch muscle fibers, and when vitamin D was restored to adequate levels, those fibers increased in size at any age. The symptoms of vitamin D deficiency are easy to miss because they are so common they get written off as just getting older. Muscle weakness, particularly in the legs and thighs. Aching muscles that feel heavy and fatigued without obvious cause. Difficulty climbing stairs or rising from a seated position. Bone pain in the legs, hips, or lower back. And a general feeling of physical fragility that seems to have arrived without any specific reason. If any of those sound like your last 6 months, vitamin D is the first thing worth investigating. The best natural source is sunlight. 15 to 30 minutes of direct sun exposure on bare skin several times per week. without sunscreen during that window, allows your skin to produce vitamin D. After 60, the skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight declines by roughly 70% compared to younger adults, which is one of the primary reasons deficiency is so prevalent in older adults, even in sunny climates. Food sources include fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, egg yolks, and fortified foods like certain dairy products and cereals. But food sources alone are rarely sufficient to maintain adequate levels after 60. If you have not had your vitamin D levels tested recently, a simple blood test called 25-hydroxy-vitamin D, ask your doctor at your next appointment. It is one of the most informative tests available for understanding your muscle health trajectory. Vitamin number 2, magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body. And of those 300, a significant number are directly related to muscle function, energy production, and nerve signaling. Here is the specific problem after 60. According to data from the National Institutes of Health, approximately 50 to 60% of adults over 60 consume less magnesium than their body requires. And that requirement actually increases with age because several common medications taken by older adults, diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, certain blood pressure drugs, actively deplete magnesium from the body. So you have a situation where the need is increasing and the intake is decreasing at the same time, and the legs feel it first. Here is what magnesium is doing in your legs specifically. Magnesium and calcium work as a pair in every muscle contraction and relaxation cycle. Calcium triggers the contraction, magnesium triggers the release. Without adequate magnesium, muscles have difficulty fully relaxing after contraction. This is why magnesium deficiency shows up in your legs as cramping, tightening, and that relentless heavy feeling that gets worse as the day progresses. The muscle contracts normally but cannot release properly. Magnesium is also the central molecule of adenosine triphosphate, SHWAM, ATP, SAY, the energy currency your cells use to do everything. Without magnesium, ATP cannot be properly produced or utilized. Your muscles literally run out of usable energy faster than they should, and magnesium plays a direct role in protein synthesis, the building and maintenance of muscle fibers. Deficiency slows that process, contributing directly to the acceleration of sarcopenia. The warning signs of magnesium deficiency are extremely common and consistently under-recognized. Muscle cramps, particularly in the calves and feet, especially at night. Restless legs, that uncomfortable urge to move the legs that disrupts sleep. Muscle twitching or involuntary spasms. Weakness and fatigue in the legs that is disproportionate to activity level. And poor sleep quality, because magnesium is also essential for the nervous system relaxation that allows deep sleep. The best food sources of magnesium are dark leafy greens. Spinach and Swiss chard are among the richest sources. Pumpkin seeds, which deliver an extraordinary amount of magnesium per serving. Almonds, cashews, and other nuts. Dark chocolate above 70% cacao. Avocado, black beans, and whole grains including brown rice and oats. One practical note. Magnesium from food is better absorbed than magnesium from most supplements. If supplementing, magnesium glycinate and magnesium malate tend to be the best absorbed forms and are gentlest on the digestive system. Magnesium oxide, the cheapest and most common form in budget supplements, has very poor absorption and mainly acts as a laxative. Vitamin number 3. Vitamin B12. If vitamin D is the most commonly deficient vitamin in older adults and magnesium is the most commonly depleted mineral, vitamin B12 is the most commonly overlooked contributor to leg weakness, because its effects are neurological rather than muscular, and the connection to leg problems is not obvious until you understand the mechanism. Here is the critical piece. Your leg muscles do not operate independently. They are controlled entirely by nerve signals traveling from your spinal cord and brain down through peripheral nerves into the muscle tissue. Every step you take, every balance adjustment, every split-second correction when you stumble, All of it depends on those nerve signals arriving accurately, at speed, and in the right sequence. Those peripheral nerves are wrapped in a protective coating called myelin, a fatty sheath that insulates the nerve and allows signals to travel at full speed. Think of myelin as the insulation around an electrical wire. Without it, signals leak, slow down, arrive distorted, or do not arrive at all. Vitamin B12 is essential for the production and maintenance of myelin. When B12 falls below adequate levels, myelin begins to degrade. And the longest nerves in the body, the ones running from your spinal cord all the way down to your feet, are the first to show the damage, because they have the most myelin to maintain and they are the farthest from the central supply. This is why B12 deficiency shows up in the legs and feet before anywhere else. The symptoms begin subtly: a tingling or numbness in the feet or toes, a sensation of walking on sand or gravel when the floor is smooth, feet that feel cold or numb even in warm conditions, a general unsteadiness when walking, particularly on uneven surfaces or in the dark, because the nerves feeding your balance system are no longer delivering accurate information. As the deficiency progresses, muscle weakness in the legs develops. Not because the muscle itself is damaged, but because the nerve signals controlling it are degraded. The muscle cannot do what it is told because the instructions are arriving late and distorted. Falls in older adults are frequently attributed to weak muscles or poor balance without any investigation of whether the underlying issue is actually B12 deficiency, degrading the nerve signals that control both of those things. Now here is why B12 deficiency is so prevalent after 60 specifically. B12 from food requires a protein called intrinsic factor to be absorbed in the gut. Intrinsic factor is produced by cells in the stomach lining. With age, those stomach lining cells produce less intrinsic factor, BAU, meaning less. B12 is absorbed from food even if dietary intake is adequate. Additionally, several of the most commonly prescribed medications for older adults directly impair B12 absorption. Metformin, the most widely prescribed diabetes medication in the world, significantly reduces B12 absorption with long-term use. Proton pump inhibitors, the acid reflux medications taken by millions of older adults daily, reduce stomach acid, which is required for B12 to be released from food before absorption. So the combination of reduced intrinsic factor production, reduced stomach acid, and medication-related depletion means that many older adults eating a diet that would have sustained adequate B12 at 40 are genuinely deficient at 65. The best food sources of B12 are animal products: meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and dairy. Clams and beef liver are among the richest sources by far. Salmon, tuna, and sardines are excellent. For those who eat predominantly plant-based diets, B12 supplementation or fortified foods are not optional. They are essential because B12 does not occur naturally in plant foods in meaningful amounts. If you take metformin or a proton pump inhibitor, ask your doctor to test your B12 level at your next appointment. This is a standard blood test. And if you are deficient, B12 injections or sublingual B12 dabas placed under the tongue bypass the gut absorption problem entirely and are far more effective than standard oral tablets for people with impaired intrinsic factor production. Now let me tell you how these three vitamins work together, because the interaction between SHIM is more powerful than any one of them alone. Vitamin D supports the muscle fibers themselves, their size, their strength, their ability to contract with force and speed. Magnesium supports the energy production and the contraction-relaxation cycle, making sure the muscle has fuel and can complete the full movement cycle without cramping or fatigue. Vitamin B12 supports the nerve signals that control the muscles, making sure the instructions arrive accurately and at speed. A muscle with adequate vitamin D but no magnesium runs out of energy and cramps. A muscle with adequate vitamin D and magnesium but no B12 receives slow or distorted nerve signals and cannot respond reliably to balance demands. All three working together is what produces legs that feel strong, reliable, and responsive. Deficiency in any one of them creates a specific and identifiable pattern of weakness that tends to get blamed on aging when it is actually addressable. Let me now give you the practical protocol: what to eat, what to test, and what to discuss with your doctor. For vitamin D, food: fatty fish 3 times per week, salmon, mackerel, sardines, egg yolks daily. Fortified dairy or plant milks if you use them. Sunlight: 15 to 30 minutes of direct skin exposure several times per week, between 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. Arms and legs exposed where possible. Test: ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D blood test. Optimal range for muscle function is generally considered to be between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Below 30 is deficient. Many labs consider below 20 to be severely deficient. If supplementing, vitamin D3 is significantly more effective than D2 at raising blood levels. Always take it with a meal containing fat, as it is fat soluble, and pair it with vitamin K2, which helps direct calcium to bones rather than soft tissue. Most quality vitamin D supplements now include K2 for this reason. For magnesium, food: add pumpkin seeds to your morning meal or as a snack. 30 grams provides around 150 milligrams of magnesium. Add spinach or Swiss chard to at least one meal daily. Keep almonds and dark chocolate as regular snacks. If supplementing, magnesium glycinate at 200 to 400 milligrams in the evening is the most practical approach for most people. The evening timing supports sleep as well as muscle recovery overnight. If you take any medication, particularly diuretics or acid reflux medications, ask your doctor to check your serum magnesium level. Note that serum magnesium can appear normal even when intracellular magnesium is depleted, so symptoms matter alongside the blood test. For vitamin B12, food: if you eat animal products, prioritize fatty fish, eggs, and meat several times per week. If you eat plant-based, supplementation is essential. Test: ask for a serum B12 blood test. Also ask for a methylmalonic acid test. This is a more sensitive marker of functional B12 deficiency that can identify depletion before serum B12 itself falls below the normal range. If you take metformin or a proton pump inhibitor, ask your doctor specifically about B12 monitoring. This is a recognized side effect of both medications and should be checked annually. If supplementing, methylcobalamin is the most bioavailable form of B12 for neurological function. Sublingual tablets that dissolve under the tongue are more effective than standard swallowed tablets for anyone with reduced stomach acid or impaired intrinsic factor production. Now, the overnight piece I promised in the title. None of this happens overnight in the sense of a single night. But here is what is true about the timing. Muscle repair and synthesis predominantly happens during sleep. Your body releases growth hormone during deep sleep phases and directs it toward muscle tissue repair. Vitamin D and magnesium both play roles in that overnight process. Vitamin D in protein synthesis and magnesium in supporting the deep sleep that allows the process to run fully. Taking magnesium in the evening specifically supports the quality of that overnight repair window. And ensuring adequate vitamin D means the repair signals during sleep actually produce measurable changes in muscle fiber size over weeks. The overnight shift is not instantaneous, but it is real, and it starts the first night you give your body what it needs. Most people who address all three deficiencies consistently through food and where necessary appropriate supplementation report noticeable changes in leg fatigue within 2 to 4 weeks. Cramping typically reduces within 1 to 2 weeks of adequate magnesium. Tingling and numbness from B12 deficiency takes longer, weeks to months, depending on how long the deficiency has been present, but the improvement is real and documented. Before I finish, one important thing. Do not begin supplementing with high doses of any of these vitamins without guidance. Vitamin D in particular can reach toxic levels if taken in very high doses for extended periods. Magnesium in excess causes diarrhea and at very high doses can affect heart rhythm, particularly relevant if you have kidney disease, which impairs magnesium clearance. Get tested. Talk to your doctor, start with food sources, and supplement thoughtfully if testing reveals genuine deficiency. Your legs have carried you for 60 years. The fact that they feel weaker now does not mean the decline is inevitable or irreversible. For a significant number of people, the weakness is a nutrient problem with a nutrient solution. 3 vitamins. Tested, addressed, maintained. That is where the difference starts. Please subscribe to this channel. I post new videos to help you stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself.